Well, the prize is huge. Obviously, the prize for today is you get to the All-Ireland final. And, obviously we knew the opposition was so serious. All-Ireland champions, outstanding champions from last year, plus league champions. We knew we had to come up here to try, first of all, to be competitive and to give ourselves a chance. So we were obviously very, very competitive, and to go ahead and to be able to just grind it out and keep going and to finish ahead of the final whistle, which was massively satisfying for certain, definitely.
Ryan, coming into the game there, obviously you played matches recently and you were really motoring in the early stages. Do you think the fact that you had matches in Limerick, didn't have games this month's time, did that impact the first 20 minutes? Possibly.
It's very, very hard to say. It'd be interesting to see what John Kiley would have said about that. I don't know from their point of view. I would say from our point of view, the match certainly helped us, I'd say, because all year, the way things are going, you don't get a chance to do an awful lot of matches or training stuff in between. So that gave us a 2-week gap to get a really serious game under our belts, massively competitive game again, up here as well, which certainly didn't do us any harm. We started very well, obviously. Our first 15 minutes was really, really good. And that stood to us in the end, because every point we scored in that period of the game, it counted very, very much at the end. Yeah, well, look, I think it was a question of everybody applying themselves to whatever responsibility they had, and all the players took responsibility, because if you start individualising all the Limerick players, they're all so capable, and they all give great leadership and have done, for them many, many times. So it's a question of everybody knuckling down and applying themselves, and we had that in abundance throughout the field, but without it, an ounce of slackness from anybody was going to be damaging for us. The way the game went, they got a goal very, very late in the first half and a goal very, very late in the second half, and that sets you back, I suppose, but as a response. I think in the first half when they got that goal late, I think we went up and we got a point straight away, more or less, and that's a serious thing to do. Then near the end, it's a question of grind it out and keep it going, and it's a great tribute to the players, absolutely.
Have all the players come through okay, Ryan? Colin Fenny came off there near the end. He put in a massive shift, but it was a question of trying to bring fresh legs on.
Yeah, he's sore. He's sore after the game. Like lots of lads are sore, and that's understandable. And you'd be thinking they should be sore as well. Colin has picked up bits of injury over the season. That just keeps going, keeps recovering well. But we have 3 weeks to see how things are. Obviously, we'll assess things, tomorrow and the next day and that. And hopefully, it's very, very early days to say yet. Hopefully that everybody will be fairly healthy after it.
Ryan, how do you get guys up the heights like that? That was incredible.
Yeah, well, look, lads do. It's either in a fella or it's not. You can't send out fellas there, in your heart and soul, that are never going to be able to do that. And it's the basic thing is you go out with total honesty. First of all, you can talk about all the other things you like. Essentially, they're in the county panel first of all because they're well able to hurl, they're good hurlers, they've plenty of skill and all the rest of it. And then it's the application that they bring, and the honesty that they bring, and the sense of team that they bring. And Limerick are living proof of that. As the way they won the All-Ireland final last year, and they oozed it, And we have done it, I suppose, over the years as well. And I said at the start of the year I would have a huge confidence in the panel players we had. I know we had injuries, but I continue to say I had a huge confidence in our players, and I still have, because they're very, very honest.
But nobody ever seems to get above you.
Nobody ever seems what, John?
Above Kilkenny in different states.
Well, I would never feel that myself. We don't. We keep our feet in the ground. We don't ever think that the only thing we would ever kind of like to think is that we'll go out and we'll work very, very hard. We've got nothing on any other team or in the country, and we have to at all times work very, very hard to stay competitive, and that's our ambition every time we go out.
Brendan said to us last week that there was no really expectancy or anything like that. Did that give them the freedom to get that out?
No. There was no expectancy from anybody, I'm sure, here either. Apart from maybe the lads there, that we might be successful, and that's understandable. I'm not trying to be smart by saying that, because I always feel that the All-Ireland champions are entitled to the respect of being favourites whenever they clog out again, and that's understandable and rightly so. So it wasn't a question of freedom. It was they got to go out and try and throw the shackles off and play. But the opposition that you're facing is huge, and you just have to go out and just take on the game that's in front of you. But it's not simple by a long shot, and you have to be just really, really honest to take it on. And thanks be to God, that's what they did.
The last 10 minutes, Brian, is it a drug to you that in the last 10 minutes games in the balance? Somebody you keep on coming back. It's almost to get your fix.
No, I don't need anything to get it fixed, to be honest with you. Look, I mean, it's a huge part of every game, obviously, the last 10 minutes. But so is, and today, obviously, the first 10 minutes was a huge part of the game because, like I said, every point on the scoreboard from us, from that period of the game, was so important. But I mean, the last 10 minutes, you've got to just go and go and go. And then you keep going and you kind of see the clock, 69, and then suddenly you see there's 5 more minutes to play the game. So, I mean, lots of things can happen and they just get a goal. So, but look, I mean, everything that happens on the field. And the players are the ones on the field. The ones on the sideline are just there. We're there, we're looking on. But I mean, everything that happened on that field today is just huge credit to the players that were out there. And the players always win the match.
Brian, did it make it any sweeter that it seemed to be a bad penalty call against yourselves, and there's a few dubious frees given against yourselves as well?
The last day I was in here, the same questions were being asked again, and it seems to be a kind of a recurring theme. And I like I said the last day and the previous day again, I think that I'm not going to start discussing referees or whinging about it or whatever it is, we win or lose, because it gets you nowhere, I suppose, really. Tough penalty call, yeah, I would think so, definitely. I mean, I couldn't see it myself, and that did happen, and it obviously just rocked us back a bit. It's a question of whatever happens then in the field. I mean, you can't change the referee's decision. You keep going, and you earn the right to win the game.
Brian, I mentioned a few times to you, Brian, about the younger Kilkenny players. We had, just to mention 3, Hugh Lawler, Conor Brown and Adrian Mullen. They've progressed to the team this year, and they're growing in stature game by game. And that's a lot to do with your input into their whole development, of course. But you must be delighted how they're responding and working with the more senior players who continue to be tremendous.
Yeah, look, I mean, they've settled in very, very well. Big ask, and it's about your character, but it's also about your ability to bring yourself to the field and to play the game and to have the nerve to do it, because the nerve is hugely important, and your head dictates so much about what happens out there. And the lads are doing that very, very well. And where they pushed and where they challenged massively and where they're taking on outstanding players in a big way. And the 3 lads you mentioned had huge jobs to do and a huge competition to face, but they took it on manfully. But again, I think it's a question of every single player on the field, and every player who came in contributed so much. And everybody who didn't get a chance to come in, plus the rest of the fellas we have in the training panel. It's a huge effort.
You were in before half time, you went 12 minutes without a score and 10 minutes in the second half. But I know your work ethic was fantastic. But you were on the line at that moment in time with all the great work. It wasn't happening, but still you went on to win the match and were never headed.
To be honest, I wouldn't be even aware that it's 10 or 12, whatever it is, minutes you're watching, you're seeing, are you competitive, are you competing and everything else. Every time you don't take that scoring opportunity, you're saying, you wish you had and all the rest of it. But the game just keeps going on, and you can't afford to just let that get to you or whatever it is, because hurling just changes like that and twists like that. And 8 points of a lead is nothing in hurling, You remember last year's All-Ireland final, I think Limerick were 9 points up with maybe 7 or 8 minutes to go, and Galway had a free to draw the game. So hurling is hurling, and regardless of what you're ahead or what you're behind, it's a question of just keeping going.
How do you find balance in terms of that half-hour line for Limerick has been so good in recent games, I think last year as well, in terms of finding the balance between telling lads to sit back versus following them out because of the pressure? How tough is that?
It's tough. That's challenging, and I mean, that's the way the game is being played, I suppose, by so many teams. But when you have the quality of a half-hour line that Limerick have, it becomes even more difficult, and the speed of it, the others come onto the ball as well. It's challenging, and it's you can plan for it and all the rest of it, and of course you have to plan for it. But putting it into practice again and to try and get right all the time, probably impossible really in lots of ways. But it's a question again of not just a half-back line looking after things, but all the fellas outside of them as well. Hurling is now just so fluid and so much tactics involved in it, it's challenging for everybody. Would I rather play Tipper Wexford in the final? I'd be very happy to play Tipper Wexford in the final, because I know we're going to, that's for sure. And it'd be very, very easy to be in Croke Park tomorrow to watch that game. That's a lovely day always, when you know you're in it. But how difficult will it be to win the final? Massively, massively. But look at, we certainly couldn't win it if we weren't in it. We have a chance we're in it.
Randy must have immense trust in the likes of Hugh Galway. Every time he comes down, he's got one of those difficult jobs, calming down, go on. Just talk a bit about Galway and what you sort of admire about him.
I just admire him and all the rest of the players as well, but Hughie is a player who always had, we could see the potential in him, but he's just come on so much. He's an intelligent fella, he's a sound fella, his feet are totally on the ground, he's completely a team player, and you know every day he goes out, you know you're getting absolutely everything that's in him. And if things go against him, he won't drop his head, he'll keep going, can't ask for much more.